What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Bringing y'all to another Handsome Beatdown. Back from IR, off that injured reserve, my man Handsome Beatdown in the house. I am your man Beatdown Brown. What's good, my
What
man?
oh, what oh.
Man, we chilling, baby. We chilling out in this piece. Oh, wonderful to be back. Coming
Yeah,
to y'all live. What you feeling?
yeah,
What you
buddy.
speaking on today, man?
Hey, it's a topic that kind of goes without saying, but it still ain't been spoken on, although it has been. I heard it on, we was gonna speak on this a while ago. We was kind of interrupted by this whole K Dot, Kung Fu Kenny and Drizzy, but even though it was worth it, it was
Boy,
well
was
worth
it
it.
worth it.
It was well worth it.
I'm a dive.
Trust and believe me.
I'm gonna divert for a second because Ant and I, ED 2020 and I talked about this, and we had the panels like that. I don't going away from our subject and then coming back for a second. I don't think people understand, and I said this with ED on the last show when we were talking about the pop out, how big this battle was, this beef was. Because one, to have one that was brewing this long, and you have to go back and follow the breadcrumbs backwards, like literally over a decade of it
Yeah,
going like this. But then
yeah.
also I went back into, and I think we're going to cover this in a future episode, the midweek episode. We're going to cover this, but the volume of music that went straight to this, I don't think there is many, if any, that went this far to have this much music released. I understand it's a different time, but to have this number of tracks involved, not including the side the side entrance, and
Right.
how how do you feel like this is the biggest by the biggest beef slash battle to go on without
Okay.
bullshit, without bullshit, because I mean, if you go with the volume, the East, I think the whole Biggie Pac, even though Biggie never responded back to Pac, because the whole the East Coast West Coast beef gets swallowed into one animal, that everybody's like, oh, there was nothing bigger than that. Well, literally, that was for the most part, besides little subtle jokes about it, that was a one-way battle.
Well, honestly, what we're about to talk about kind of actually comes into the fold of this.
Hmm.
But um I'm just gonna say, like you said, it was this Kenny and Drake battle. As you said, it was brewing. Yeah, because I took a ponder. I went back into the abyss of this battle, and me being an astute person of hip hop and everything, seeing what all was, I didn't realize that some of this stuff that was going on between the two of them was what it was. You know what I'm saying? So it
Right.
was like, yo, I didn't know this was about him and that was about him. So like, yeah, it was going for a while. Like some stuff that I was like seeing, I'm like, oh, this was a bop, but I didn't realize that this was about him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Right.
this was it was a slow drip until when you hit me with that, like when you sent that like that to my Instagram DM, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? So yeah, it was a real slow drip until then, and then it was like, okay, the volcano erupted, and then it was like, okay, but it was like a volcano would normally erupt. It was like a little spurt here, then a little bit more came out, and then boom, it really erupted. So yeah,
Yeah,
exactly what it was.
it's wild because I gave it the equation of, back in with sports. I always go with sports and hop kind of go hand in hand with because
Mm-hmm.
they're just grand spectacles. And
Right,
I don't get into soccer. I watch soccer, but I don't get into soccer like that to understand dynasties. I watch hockey, I don't get into hockey dynasties. So if anybody gets to the comments and corrects me like, oh no, by the way, you know, in the Euro League, I can't testify to that. You know what I'm saying? I watch
right,
what I watch. I
right,
don't know. But it's like, okay, when we were kids into teenagers, it was the Bulls as far as that grand dynasty. And
right.
the Warriors turning around and doing it during our time the way they did it. Yeah, no, they didn't end up with six, but they ended up doing huge things in one time frame. NFL, you talk about the Steelers, the Niners, the Cowboys,
The Patriots now
but
too.
going with it in once again our adult life, dealing with what the Patriots did. Love them or hate them, I hate them,
Right.
but that's neither here nor there.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? You have to acknowledge that.
Word.
That's why it's like this is crazy because like we grew up, one literally we grew up with hip hop. So growing up with hip hop is like everything sort of I couldn't directly associate with, Furious Five, the Furious Five beef and all like that. You know what I'm saying? Going back when Cats was doing showcases versus each other. But,
Right.
you know, it was crazy to see, like I said, there's only one other beef, and we'll cover it in the future that had this much music, and that has to be, in my opinion, Quick and Eight.
Yeah.
That's the only one that went long. It went
Yeah.
long and it had that much music. You had what, three and three going back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, everybody
Uh-huh.
else was real beef. I mean, was real brief. Um, Jay and Nas, what was that? Four songs,
It was
basically.
it was that, but then it was like it was actual songs, probably about three or four, but then it was like you still had a subliminal here and there afterwards though.
Oh, you definitely had the subliminals afterwards. You
You
had the
had
subliminals
subliminals
during.
afterwards, bruh. Like afterwards, you still had some subliminal shots. You know what I'm saying? After the joints.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
we didn't talk about it too much. We gonna pivot show. We gonna switch up swap up shows. We gonna go ahead and go into the dish show early. We we
Got you.
we might as well
Got
go
you.
ahead. We sitting on it. We mentioned it too many
Got you.
times. We might as well go ahead and slide to this show. We'll go into the other one on the second docket.
Indeed, indeed. No doubt.
So, like we're saying, we got mad cats who have gone back and forth, said this, said that. Subliminals reign supreme all over the place because we got subliminal shots that like, and I'll just say secondary involvements and stuff that just gets wild. Do you have a favorite beef or a favorite battle of yours personally?
Again, my favorite probably would still be the Jay and Nas because those are still my two favorite MCs. Granted, that shit hurt like a motherfucker when I found like when I had to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta straddle that fence. I'm saying it's like, yo, these are my two favorites. Why is y'all beefing?
Right,
Why? And then it's like, dude, like you don't want to see these cats go at it. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And it's like my favorite MC is Nas, and my he is my favorite MC. Like what solidified him being my favorite MC is because when I seen Belly, the bootleg, of course, because he was broke, and I don't
right,
know how my cousin got the joint, but he had the bootleg of that shit way before the movie came out. And he brought it to my crib. So I seen the movie like dozens of times way before it even came out. Anyway, the scene
right,
after Lennox got popped and Nas drove the car back to the projects. he talking to the little dude on the stoop.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Yo, I had to smoke this cow on the roof." You know that's everybody know that's the third verse to One Love. I'm like, yo, this cat just made his verse a freaking scene in a movie. I'm like, yo, this my dude. I ain't fuck with nobody else. This is my dude. That's what made him my favorite MC.
Right.
So I'm like, but so it's like, but Jay is still that ill and phenomenal. So it's like Nas 51%, Jay 49%. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, regardless, I'm like, man, but still at that time, Nas was the underdog. You know what I'm saying? It was like, well, he ain't gonna be able to pull it out because you figure that whole Nostradamus album, it was like that album is trash. Go back and listen to it now, though. The album is still, if you listen to it now, that album is dope. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It got joints on it, but anyway, it was like he can't pull it out, and Jay is just at the top of his game, and this, and that. And when that ether dropped, it was like, all right, now tell me, what is it? What is it now? And then, like, if you do the backstory on that, the fact that he dropped that ether strategically on Jay's birthday and everything, and all this, and that. All right, now what? It was like, who the illest now? Right. And then when Jay came back with that super ugly, it was like, this what you come back with, son? You
Yeah.
supposed to be that dude. You come back with this? And then on top of that, he does an apology on it. Like, it's kind of like Jay was the future. Now I ain't gonna say J. Cole, because J. Cole might be the smartest man in 2024 with that apology. But it was like, you come back with this, dog, for real? Nah, bruh. No.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. But it was like, now in hindsight, you look at it and that all that Jay is still is, and because it didn't mess with his career none or nothing like that, but it was like that's the one thing you could say, like, with Jay in all of his accolades and everything, that like Nas, who was supposed to be the underdog in the situation and all that, that got to him. And Jay's flow is flawless and everything, but that got Jay out of his comfort zone.
Would you agree that battle bar, we won't say bar for bar for obvious reasons, because there was never a bar up. Would we say that this was the closest one in our run here to the Drake Kenny run? That battle there was the closest run out, as far as, like you
Um,
said, the one, the air quote underdog up there smashing out the, let's be honest, the king at the time. And also on top of that, it coming from and going to a place of where it's just like, why?
this
Because it's
like
just,
this. Mm, honestly, I don't. You know what? Nope, I would not put them two with that one. Honestly, I mean, it was dope for what it was, but the one that I think that I would compare with that one
okay.
would be Remy Ma and Nicki.
Okay. Feel it.
Only because with that one, Nicki ain't been the same since.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely not going with the aftermath, because we'll cover this in a little bit, as far as we have some opinions on who was Drake before Drake.
Oh, no
And
doubt, no doubt.
no, definitely, yeah, after Nicki getting the dog pile that Nicki got, and keeps getting and keeps inserting herself into, is ugly for her.
But it was
And
like
yeah,
with that
with
one,
Remy,
only reason I'm gonna say with that one is because it was like her comebacks, Nicki's comeback to that song. It was basically ironic to the core, bruh, because your comeback song is shit. ether was no frauds, but you had 3 of them on it. You had 2 actors and a fake blood. Where's the lie?
Right. I it's cool to incite a battle with guests. It's cool to incite a battle with guests. Once you have a battle, once you're going full on battle, and this is the one thing that I'll cover right now before I go into anything else. Everybody's up there's like, oh, it's 20 verse 1, 1 verse 20, and all that other stuff, and going back and forth. Once again, my sports analogy is this: when you go and you play that hot squad, first of all, you're playing against a squad, but you know who the star
Mm-hmm.
is. You know who the person you got
Yeah,
shut down is. And I don't care what
right.
anybody else do, whether this is going back to the Pistons beating that hot ass Lakers squad when nobody
Mm-hmm.
expected the Pistons to do anything. They knew they had to make sure Kobe didn't do anything.
Of
They knew
course.
who they had to knock down. It wasn't about what everybody else was going to do. It's like, no, you got to go. And I think that was one major thing versus Drake up there. Like, oh, I got to address. Everybody said something. I got to address Rick. I don't think he had the ammo. And this is what happens
Well,
to
he
us. Like,
didn't, but go ahead.
I don't think he had the ammo to go straight at Kenny. And that was the thing about it. Everybody else was secondary products. It's like, okay, you got a little squad over here, but Kenny's the only one that matters. What Rick got to say, you could have handled that if he could have handled it. Now, notice how I'm saying, if he could have handled it. What you do is,
Right.
I'm going to go knock Kenny off the table. Then I'll clean up the crumbs with the rest of y'all and what everybody else had to say. But I got to go clean up this cat because this is the problem. This is Steph from damn near the logo. You know what I'm saying? This is Jordan from anywhere inside the mid range and banging on me. I ain't gotta worry about everybody else. I gotta get this cat off his square. And then everybody else, then I can go clean up. And so everybody uses it as an out. Oh, he had to go at Rick Ross. He had to go at who else is in this? He had to go at Future. He had to go at the Weekend. The Weekend? The Weekend? Like that, he doesn't even bear mentioning. He had to go at Metro. Metro? The producers is last. He he don't even get a corner of a bar. All these other people don't matter. Rick Ross literally dropped one cut and backed out. You had
Bruh.
one mission, dog. You had one mission on who to go after. And as
Bruh.
far as going into my favorite diss track, and I know we're supposed to go a little bit deeper cut, but just like you said, when we're going into favorite battles, it has to be my boy Chris going after a whole damn borough. And it's not even, I ain't even gonna go with South Bronx because South Bronx is my joint. But the bridge is over. The bridge is
Bro,
over.
that's automatic. That's fucking automatic.
My man was up there's like, nah, I gotta go after Queens and Queensbridge right there.
Bro,
And
that might be the blueprint of diss tracks. That
especially
might be the precedent of diss tracks.
especially with the fact that understanding the backstory of running up on Mr. Magic at the station and he stole Homeboy's drums.
Bruh.
They
Bruh.
stole Homeboy's drums to do the joint.
Bruh. If that ain't petty, I don't know what is.
For the younger audience, or just for those that don't know, unlike nowadays when you do production and everybody can freely sample, everybody's got a sampler, everybody's got access to buy records, go in, get whatever, grab the CD or whatever to sample off of, or to even go to sources to get samples, buy the software, the virtual instruments to get the good drums, the good samples, the good instruments. That was not the case in the early to mid 80s. Is like Cats wasn't sampling that. Cats didn't have equipment like that. Cats didn't know how to use equipment like that. So running up to the station on Mr. Magic, trying to get the BDP at the time, trying to get their track played, and Mr. Magic literally dissed they cut, but then realizing because what's my man's name? Their producer. You know what I'm talking
Marley
about.
Rock,
No, not BDP's producer. Juice Crew's
Marley Marl,
producer. Marley Marl.
Marley Marl.
Marley Marl saw with the fact of how deep BDP came up to the station. He's like, okay, don't want to be here. Hurried up and dipped out. And when he dipped out, he left some of it. I want to say a floppy. I don't think it was just a cassette or
He
something
left.
like that.
He left this reel. I believe this is back when
That's
he
what it
had
was.
the
Okay.
whole reel, bro. He left the reel in that joint.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction. So yeah, left the
Yo,
reel up up at the station. And Chris and the rest of them was like, oh, so our first track y'all feel is whack, it wasn't banging? Okay. Let's see if you think the track is banging when we come back and sound on the same level now. And history was made using their sounds, which is crazy because let's be absolutely accurate. Marley Marl changed the way the sampling was handled and the way hip hop sounded by the way he was able to flip stuff. So that was crazy in itself. Then, like I said, not only to diss MC Shan, the rest of the Juice Crew, Roxanne, and everybody else, but to dish your whole borough. That's crazy.
that part. That part.
Saying I
But
didn't hear a peep from a place called Queens.
that part. But so to piggyback on what you said earlier, as far as the 20 verse 1 and the whole sport thing. Now,
Yeah.
if he was really strategic on it, first off, it was 20 versus 1 both ways. Because
Oh, of
if you
course.
look at it, it was 20 versus 1 if you're saying that Drake had to battle everybody else that he said he had to battle. Okay, cool. Then
Mm-hmm.
it was still 20 versus 1 because Kendrick had to battle Drake and all of his ghostwriters.
And
But
AI.
that too. But now, like you said, the whole sport thing. Now let's be strategic. If he was being, like you said, you still have the star that you have to go after.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, in sports, the Pistons did not have the Jordan rules for no reason. So if he really wanted to do that, like you said, then he should have just went at Kendrick and everybody else would have fell back if that was the
Yeah.
case. But like you said, he didn't have no ammo on Kendrick. None.
Didn't
That's
have the,
why he stuck to the same format that he did when he was going at Pusha T.
which was bad. That was bad. If you don't learn anything else, once again going to sports, I can't mess with. We'll go back as far as to the Showtime Lakers. Okay, when you're messing with the Showtime Lakers, do you have the endurance to run with them? Can I run with these cats up and down the floor all night for a 5-game series? No, no, you can't. So not having the ability to run with them for a 5-game series, you got to make it dirty. You got to make it gritty. You got to get them in the half court. You got to make them play the way that they aren't used to playing. But you're not going to try and run with them. So the fact of the matter is, he was used to, and even with the Lakers going against whether it was the Celtics or whoever else that were half court teams, they can't go and run on the floor all the time because you're going to have to learn how to play half court. Drake needed to learn how to play half court because the fact of the matter was, keep bringing up, you haven't learned this time. Common taught you, don't bring up a chick in this situation or I'm going to smoke you. Pusha T taught you, don't bring up my woman in this right now or I'm going to smoke you. This keeps happening to you. It's like, don't do this because I'm gonna smoke you. Let's just keep this. Let's keep this hip hop. Let's keep this rhymes. Because if you get personal, I'm gonna show the fact that you don't have the endurance or the physicality to run this, and that's what happened to him versus Kenny. And it's just like, what are you going? What are you going to do? How are you going to? How are you actually going to beat me? Because I can still do everything else I can do. Plus, I can run dirtier than you. So we in the half
And
court. Okay, I can throw bows too. Yeah, you making these short jokes, but understand, I'm in great shape. I can body up with you. But also, if you start taking off the run, I can run with you too.
bruh, I mean, that right there was the whole thing about it. He went with what only he knew how to do and what he should have did, but at the same time, look at who he's dealing with. The dude, the dude studied him before he even went into the battle. So it was like, bruh, you might have tried to just go into a whole different sport
Yeah,
because I mean, again, he said in like that, your best work was a light pink. So basically, meaning that
Daylight
um
wrote back to back for you.
what I was
I'm
about to
up
say,
I'm up here
basically.
dropping breadcrumbs on you. I know what's going on. Daylight hangs around TDE. We knew this before anybody else did. That you're not writing your own actions. And people will be like, "Oh, Daylight retracted that." He said, "And Daylight's a troll." Yeah, Daylight's a troll, but Daylight is a troll that will put it out there for you, and then be like, "Ah, oh, I was just playing." But do with that information what you will.
Nah, that's the one of the things when Nas said that in one of his songs back in the day. He said when people tell the truth, they be lying, they be laughing at you, but they be saying it like they just playing. So nah, that's what Daylight be doing. He be
Exactly. That's
telling
why
the truth on you, but it's like, nah, I was just playing. Or was I? So nah, bruh.
we know Daylight wrote it. We know Daylight did what he did, and it's once again the biggest problem in this versus a lot of these other battles. Every other battle we're going to bring up, every other diss track we'll bring up. The question is outside of, and I'm gonna go there off top and just really put it down. Outside of NWA versus Q, everybody had a pen. In the case of NWA versus Cube, you had Ren's pen. DLC gracefully bowed out of using his pen, even though he was an NWA pen. But that was Ren's pen for everybody going around there.
You also had Above the Law.
Yeah, above the law's pen going on in that one too. So it wasn't Easy's pen, it wasn't Dre's pen in that one. But outside of them, it was pens from those involved.
It was
Jay and
all in
Nas, of
house
course.
pens, yeah.
Right. Like I said, Jay and Nas, two prolific pens going at it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Chris versus the Juice Crew, prolific pens going at it right there. And, you know what I'm saying, a gracious level of petty. LL Cool J versus everybody he went up against. Once again, pins going against pins. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
this was the only time 50 versus everybody he went up against. You know what I'm saying? Love Jaw, don't love Jaw, whatever, that being one of the biggest in the situation, it still is what it is. And Drake was the first one where it's like, where the pen was in question the whole time. Like, who did this? Who actually? And it leads back
Right.
to the fact of the matter is this the reason why I say this is a why. And I alluded to the fact with Jay and Nas, it could have been avoided um, going there and getting there. And I look at it because, yes, I understand Big's life was cut short, but Big and Nas didn't go into it. There was illusions, there was jokes, you know what I'm saying, whatever, but it didn't get there
Right.
between them, even though there was, friction going on back and forth there, even to the point of where Wu affiliates went and hopped in and was going at Big. I'm sure they was looking at Meth kind of funny in the light for dealing with Big, and all that stuff. And that was even mentioned too, that
Yeah,
was a
but they
weird
squashed that
situation.
though.
Yeah, they
They
squashed it.
squashed that. That Wu was squashed right before. Honestly, that Wu and Big really wasn't that deep because they said that right before Big passed, like legitimately days before Big passed, they had bumped into Big in LA. And they said to yo, we just want you to know, like, ain't no hard feelings. It's just hip hop, what nothing like that. And Big was like, yeah, you know what, man, it wasn't nothing, man. It's all good. Ain't no thing, you know what I'm saying? And they was like, yo, we dapped it up. We had some drinks. And we was like, yo, we gonna work together soon. He was like, yeah, no doubt. So it was all love between them. Actually, it really wasn't even no
Right.
drama between Wu and Big.
Well, that was going to be a different animal too, because Big was trying to get out of Bad Boy, and Big coming out of Bad Boy, as we will visit in the future here in a second. But with Cats getting out of Bad Boy, but with Big getting out of Bad Boy, that was going to change a whole lot as far as who could deal with him, who would deal with him, who was going to be associated in that too. Because it was a case. It wasn't a case fully of Big. It was Puff.
Yeah,
Cass didn't necessarily care to
indeed.
deal with Puff and his actions and how he operates. And
Word,
like I said, we'll be
word.
getting into that teaser that was supposed to be what this episode was, and we'll just flip it. Like I said, we're gonna flip the docket. But with that being the case, with this Drake situation, I said it before and I'll say it again. You can be the biggest rapper, the greatest rapper, the rock star, the pop star, whatever. And we'll get into that also in one of the other episodes here. But if you are that, say that. Because the fact of the matter is, if we go down the line, there is almost, even with all his shortcomings and BS, there's almost no bigger hip hop act, no bigger rapper than Kanye. And we know Kanye is the ghostwriter user of the century. You can literally hear everybody's pens going through him. And I said it before, the best version of a lot of his ghostwriters come out of his mouth. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, if you want to hear the best sci-hi, let Kanye spit it. If you want to hear the best rhyme
Mm-hmm.
fest, let Kanye spit it. If you want to hear
Mm-hmm.
some nasty versions of Pusha T, let Kanye spit it. It's the truth in it. But you know what I'm saying? It's never, Kanye isn't gonna go up there and say, I'm the dopest MC, watch me rip you. He's gonna have beef with you because he's a petty cat. And that's what petty cats
Mm-hmm.
do. But understand, I even said that would have been the best version of this battle, would have been Kanye versus Drake. Because one, everybody's pens would have been getting sharpened up on that one. It would have been star power versus star power, big hit song
Mm-hmm.
versus big hit song, and it would have made
Who could
for
be the most? Who could probably be the? And again, I don't know if it would have been the best on who could probably out petty who too.
out petty who, but also out besides out petty who, this was Kendrick proved that I can make a pop song. I can make
Oh,
the
definitely,
anthem cut,
definitely,
which we already
definitely.
knew he could, but he really went there. Like anybody who doesn't understand and wants to say, not like us, is not a successful diss or whatever. It was kind of shallow. It was shallow on purpose, even though he can't help but go deeper on that verse with the Atlanta run and the colonizer like that. It was shallow on purpose. It was, I can
Oh,
make a bop.
definitely,
He's like, I'm letting you know
definitely.
I can make a bop. Because he already went surgical. He's like, I went surgical with the
Oh, definitely.
616 in LA. I went
I
surgical with
mean,
Meet the
surgical
Grams.
was at Meet the Grams. That Meet the
I was about to say
Grams was
Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams wasn't, that wasn't normal
Meet the
surgery. That was
Grams.
invasive.
Meet the Grams was the kill shot.
Yes.
Not Like Us was basically, yeah, I chopped his head off, and here it is. I'm holding it in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the marching around showing that the battle was over, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
it was the victory lap, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's when you definitely, like you said, I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. That was running around with homeboy's chain. That was running around with homeboy's chain on him. He had the
Yeah.
head on the pike for that one. So it's like, understand,
Yeah.
it was purposely shallow. It wasn't a case of, oh nah. In every facet of the battle, he proved, even with Euphoria, the fact that Euphoria was a banger with the beat changes and everything like that. He's like, I can do this without a problem. Understand, I can do this. I'm just seeing what you can do. And even going back further than that, mocking him and Keem mocking Sticky when they did the Hillbillies. It's like, I can do what you can do easy. I just don't. I got other stuff to do. I can do
Right.
everything you do. Going back into um, focusing it forward onto away from that particular battle and going into some of your other favorite disc cuts. What else you got as far as some of your favorite disc cuts involved?
Well, we was talking that quick and eight battle, bruh.
I'm
I
I love
mean,
I love Quick, but I'm always team A. I'm always team
man,
A, and I know Quick won the battle. I ain't even going front on it,
man,
but
listen, I I love them both too, and it's just like with those battles, it's just like honestly, I'm just gonna say I don't even know anymore because it's like going back and listening to them both. I mean, it's just yo. I went back and listened to the first Death Wish, and that
yeah,
was just like, yo, this is crazy. This is nuts. And then it was like quick. He really didn't say. He really didn't even. It wasn't a song. His reply back. He just said something at the end of one of his shout out songs on Way Too Funky. Okay,
right,
but then it was like then 8 came back with Death Wish 3, and it
yeah,
was like, oh my, it was just like just the production on that, and he was like DJ Quick in a khaki bikini. It was just like like how do you diss somebody over strings, bruh? Like
yeah.
what are we doing here? And it's like, oh my god. And then you just got chicks in the back, don't fuck with A. I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking stupid.
My joint with you can
And
get the duck sick.
yeah, and then there's that, and then but then murder was the case. Bow, 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 doom, doom, doom. I'm like, what is this? And then you hear not Aaron Tyler. Him and you like, oh shit, he came back, and it's like this is just so funky. It's like, oh my
Yeah, that dollar,
god,
that dollars and cents, that
this
dollars and
is just
cents was
nuts. This is just nuts. It's like, dude, okay, what are we doing here? And it's just like, yo, this is crazy. But but then Use a Gangster comes out and they squash it over something really funky. I'm like, okay, this right here is the real MVP.
mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, this right here is crazy. Like this was dope because y'all, I mean, y'all probably did fight or came to blows or whatever, but y'all, it still was basically kept on wax because that Big and Pac was an actual, like, yo, this really could get serious. And y'all came to y'all senses
Yeah,
and made beautiful music out of it. And it basically stayed on wax.
yeah.
So, yeah, that.
That was that's one of my ones right there. Going back into it, funny enough, um one that I didn't give, like I said, the 100 miles of running versus no Vaseline, that goes without saying. That was
Of
crazy,
course.
and
Of
even
course.
Easy coming back with the real niggas. Um, but
Hey, but shit also, bruh, we cannot forget fuck with Dre Day and real motherfucking G's.
going back at Tim Dog for that fuck Compton.
Bruh, that fuck Compton video was hilarious though. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
You got brolic ass dudes swinging light extension cords with light bulbs at the end of them.
yeah, yeah.
But
It,
yeah,
it,
that's
it's
funny.
it's wild how much cats get down and stuff gets wild. You got Capone Noriega and Mobb Deep doing LA
I
as a
was
response to New
about to
York,
say that. I
and
was
then
about to
New
say that
York going
too.
back and forth. Um, I mean, whew, there's been some craziness. Um, the bitching you going at Common,
That one right there was what I was gonna say too, because that was, bro. You had him going against three juggernauts,
yeah,
and he was
yeah,
leery about that shit. He was like, yeah, he was like, first like, oh, that's dope. Cube know my name. And he was like, all right, now I don't know how much more I'm gonna take of these cats dissing me, bro. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And then actually, when he performed it the first time, to perform that shit in L.A. when LA was active, like, yo, yeah, we don't like motherfucker dissing us, first off. And then that was like coming right after the killing of Biggie and all that shit. So yeah, it actually could have went down for him.
yeah. I'm,
So,
I'm gonna have to retrack and go back at it because I will have to say Big did throw a shot, and it follows under subliminal. Is if you know with that kick in the door, going at Nas, responding back to J. Rule for hip hop for one day. Excuse me, responding back to J. Rule to damage it for one day, and then even slight little Ray and Ghost little shots on there.
well, that I know for a fact. The of course the You're Running on the Top of Short Leprechauns, that was Nas,
Uh huh.
and the My Money Never Funny and You Still Recouping Stupid, that was for Nas too.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure about any of the other ones. I'm sure they're worth. I'm sure they were for the other ones though. You know what I'm saying?
I I will admit because of the literally straight up raw volume of music that I intake, I don't have bars like that. I don't keep the bars in head like that. So I do apologize to the audience because it's just like, and I should have just had him highlighted. But I do remember he had direct bars at one day, and I do remember it was because Ray and Ghost was up there. It's like, oh, Bad Boy using Nas record covers weight. He had a little line in
Mm-hmm.
there to fire at them for that one. I don't because the fact of um, DMX his jail issues with K Solo and K Solo saying the X stole his flow. Um, with the Get At Me Dog one, that everybody's like, yeah, he was going in solo and Pac on that one. That one I don't 100% know about.
Well, yeah, that at the well case he was definitely going at K Solo because they bleeped it out because he said that nigga K Solo can suck my dick, but they bleeped
Yeah,
out the name. That was
yeah,
definitely K Solo. But because Eric Sermon even had the backstory on that one on Drink Champs. He said that Irv Gotti was like, "Yeah, we going at your man K Solo on this joint." He was like, "If you want me to bleep the name out, we can." Eric Stone was like, "Look, it's hip hop. You don't gotta. If you want to go at him, go at him. I don't care." He was like, "All right, bet." He said, "But they bleeped the name out anyway." So yeah, that was definitely K Solo. The Pac thing, I'm not sure about. I didn't even know that like him and Pac even really knew each other. So I ain't
I
sure
think
about that one.
I think it's more so a case of with X and Pac, it was the fact that he looked at early Pac
Mm-hmm.
as a hard cat that was on something, and then the how do you want it Pac and everything else. He wasn't good with the softness of it.
Got you.
So that was
Got
his
you.
run there. You got Kim on the Quiet Storm verse going at Foxy.
Yeah, but then you got Foxy going back at Kim on that Capone Noriega Bang Bang
Yeah,
and Puff. And
yeah.
then Puff was like heated with Nori. He was like, "How you gonna let her come at me on that song?" Nori was like, "Bruh, I didn't know she was gonna come at you like that." He was like, "To be honest, we made her rewrite her verse because she came a lot harder." He was like, "Oh, well, get your money, fuck it."
Yeah, yeah. It's like the 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 craziness of all of this stuff, how folks have been going at each other. Um, come on, Jada Jada versus everybody he went at,
Yo,
and especially
the whole beans going at Jada and all that. That shit was, yeah, but it was fabricated.
okay,
They was from what I'm hearing. Beans was saying that that was the label saying to go at Jada because at the time he was getting hot. And
hmm
Beans was they was like, "Yo, go at the hot dude right now because that'll get your buzz cracking." So that beef was fabricated. Beans ain't really even want to go at Jada all like that.
okay, it's it's just wild. And then you got the Nikki Kims going back and forth
Which
with
I
their.
think is some bullshit because now Nikki doing the same shit.
Oh, Nikki's absolutely doing the same shit, and it was like all you have to do is pay homage and sit back, and it possibly could have been cool. Kim was a little stupid gatekeeping, and I understand she lost a lot of time when she was locked up and was coming back around and wanted to do her thing, but
But I mean, you could understand that. I mean, if that's the case, then Remy should have been doing the same thing, but she hasn't.
nah, Remy's been for the most part chilling. Remy's for the most part been chilling.
But her pen is still sick, so it's like, dude, if she really wanted to do that, then you know what I'm saying. Her pen game is still ill, so you can any real MC gonna recognize a ill pen. So it's like she don't have nothing to prove.
Yep.
So I mean, this whole thing with Nikki, like, bruh, I mean, one, I think it's whacked it like with female artists that it can only they say can only be one at the top. Which, if you look at the game now, the female artists is the ones that's killing it right now. So that right there slights that there can only be one at the top.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
it's like thing with her and Cardi. Like, dude, nah. I mean, I don't even think Cardi even posed a threat to Nicki. You know what I'm saying? The only way she could have posed a threat to Nicki was in the sense of acting because Cardi came on the scene with Love and Hip Hop, which is a television show. And to
right,
be perfectly honest with you, if the cards was played, I'm not even gonna say if the cards was played right, but Nikki could have honestly followed the path of Will Smith, to be perfectly honest with you.
right.
But in the same sense, if Hollywood is Holly weird, I can see why she didn't, but if she gonna act the way she been acting, she still could have. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's a wild situation. And what's funny is going back to, like you said, ladies running the game. I have to go back because it was in the middle of the battle and I paid no attention to it. But shout out to Megan for how hard she went at,
Man, listen,
man, on that
Megan the Stallion, I fucks with her hard body.
dog.
I love Megan.
That his
Oh, that hits is off the fucking chain because that was
she
20 versus 1. That was
and
20 versus she got all them motherfuckers quick, concise, without saying no names.
no names, and was literally, because honestly, I was shocked in this whole thing that Drake had no comeback for her. Like
How
Drake,
can you when you telling the truth?
yeah, she's up there. It's like we got pop dudes and these chicks with the
She
same scars.
she started that BBL Drizzy. She started the BBL Drizzy shit, bro. Facts.
Yo, yo,
Facts. Facts. She started that shit. Yeah. They don't want to give her credit for it though. Yeah, but she started the BBL Drizzy shit. Facts.
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm and all the success that Megan is getting, kudos. I salute Queen for real. I'm being that I'm an honorary Texan right now. Yeah, man.
Right, right.
Texas fuck with me. Texas stand tall for Megan. Do not fuck with Megan in Texas because you will get that ass whooped. Facts.
And rightly so. Like I literally, because once again, as much as I pop shit about Drake, understand the fact of the matter is when Drake makes a good cut, I give him props for making a good cut. Because
Oh, no doubt.
that champagne poetry was banging. And I'm not talking about early Drake, I'm talking about later Drake. When he does
Right.
something that's fire, I give him props for it being fire. Because
Right.
I was one that did actually like Sticky until the Hillbillies knocked it out of the water, until they U-boated that joint. But that what is it that conductor joint, the scary hours joint that he did with conductor, that joint was fire. Besides this cat showing up with barrettes in his hair, multicolored barrettes in his hair on the video, like that joint was actually fire. And yes, that's mainly because of conductor, I understand that. And then the fact of the matter is, like I said, that champagne poetry was banging. Homeboys, his A&R game for picking production when it's time to rap, not when it's time to make a pop cut. When it's time to
Right.
rap, his their ear for getting him the right cuts makes some bangers. But
Mm-hmm.
dude, you are outclassed. Just say I'm the best rapper. Nobody's gonna argue with you that you're the best rapper. Even with the him and Kendrick project, I will admit, as whack as Push Ups was a bop. Push Ups was a bop, and Homeboy had the patterns and stuff. I don't know who wrote it. I don't really care who wrote it. Outside of just the outright lies and then the saucy ass Nicki Minaj talk out on the end of the track. Because I'm sorry if Nicki didn't write that because he sounded like he was coming straight from from her vocal pattern. He's talking about this was some good exercise. Like it sounded like Nicki said that. That did not sound like a man talking. Just me stating it. That sounded like Nicki wrote that joint, man. That right, the outro.
Possibly.
Not saying the actual verses,
Possibly.
but even with that one and with Family Matters, all of those joints was some bops. All of them joints was like pattern wise, beat wise, whatever. They was dope, and for that. And yes, I'm going to choke on my words for this one. If that's what y'all hanging on, is the fact that the listenability of him was what kept him in this battle. Okay, I'll give you that. But coming from the MC standpoint, he wasn't saying shit. And you could tell he was reaching every fucking second. You got to talk about his reaches, what Kendrick is saying, like, or when people are pulling stuff out of bars or his meanings, like, this is the dude who was sitting up there literally giving you stories of, actually, I got the right person on here with me, because the fact of the matter that this ain't going after Drake, this was going after something deeper, because we know who is pushing Drake forward. We all know that Drake doesn't own OVO. We also know that Drake has this lifetime deal where he sold his catalog, and he's basically in a worse than Kanye deal right now. And Kanye had to basically go rogue to get out of it, get out of his publishing being owned forever. They just basically had to kick him out of the world, and I swear that's why he went rogue. But going back to that, the fact of the matter is, Drake is underwritten by King of the Music Biz, Lucian Grange at Universal. Do you understand the fact that going backwards all this time, one, at the beginning of Damn, the woman, air quote, that killed him was Lucifer or Lucy, and he was talking about how Lucy came to him and told him to abuse his power. Could he, that whole time, understanding who Kendrick is, been talking about Lucy and Grange this whole time, and basically giving that perception, whispering in his ear, telling him all the fucked up shit to do? Could that be the case of all this time, Lucy's coming to me telling me to do all this fucked up shit? These aren't reaches when you're dealing with this dude. This dude talks in codes and riddles and everything else and plays around. This cat was telling you that even in the fact of the matter is, I'm going at the avatar for the bigger picture. I don't care about this dude, but I do care about what this dude represents. Because even with this whole thing, everybody's like, oh, it's colorism and he's racist. He's talking this. If he was racist, then why is The Alchemist a Jewish dude from Beverly Hills, the producer of Beat the Grams? He could care
Think,
less.
but think about it, dude. I mean, it could still be some meaning behind that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's in a bad way.
Right.
Again, Kendrick is strategic. There's a layer to everything that this dude does, bro. So I
Well,
mean, yeah, there's a bigger picture to all this stuff. That's what's going on.
oh
So
yeah. We said the way that this cat thinks differently. You said Taylor got to let you release, and he dropped Taylor Made Freestyle. Then he turns around and does 616 in LA with Taylor Swift's two top producers, one which is Kendrick's producer Soundwave, and then the other homeboy to do the production on on 616 in LA. So it's just like, okay, so you want to make Taylor Made? I got something that's truly Tailor Made. I got
exactly.
Soundwave, another homeboy on here that the producers for this joint. It was disgusting how much and how strategic he was. It was, it's not reaches on this. And this is the whole thing about why I say being outclassed and know what you are and how you are. Any
Is
other
that and
any
that
other
and the,
notable? Go
yeah, the
ahead.
break. Have you seen the breakdown of the Not Like Us video?
Oh, dog. Yeah, shaving a haircut. Um, breaking down that the whole thing was like a jury trial. The fact doing stuff in front of the Compton courthouse, in front of the Martin Luther King. The Martin. I'm rhyming like I want to get the slaves free, so we're gonna do it in front of the Martin Luther King Memorial. The fact of the matter is, when he's screaming A minor, doing the hopscotch across the board.
But it's that the fact that when he does the hopscotch across the board, he skips over the six.
Oh shit!
Not just that, but when he does the push-ups when he does the push-up scene in jail, he does
Only does
exactly
17 of them.
17. But then also that picture
Turn backwards.
that's from
Yes.
backwards is a picture from that scene or a picture from that party that Drake and that party that the dude was at, that Drake was at, that um Shit, the Patriots dude, or what? Not the Patriots dude, but that party that Drake was at,
The
that
Sixers owner,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, that it was a party. It was an invitation from that party,
You're right.
and the video was released on the day that party was given.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a whole bunch of stuff, dude. That shit is wild. But it was
The
saying
shipping
something about
containers. The shipping
that. I was about to say
containers.
that. About to say that though. Yeah, they were white, supposedly, and they're normally about the red, white, and blue or some shit like that. But also that they were open and they had vents in them. Well, why would they have the vents in them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Also the
weird.
fact of the matter is Kendrick's the only one wearing a suit, so it's like the agent busting them
Well,
during that scene.
that they said that, and the fact that Dave Free was dressed casual, and that was supposed to. They said something about that. I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but they said that that was the same look that Future and Metro Boomin had on in the We Still Don't Trust You" album cover.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of shit. It was a whole bunch of shit.
This cat is thinking through all of this time. None of this is nothing that he does is by accident.
Oh,
He's
no
thinking
doubt.
he's playing 4D chess in this whole thing.
No doubt.
And
No
it's just
doubt.
like, dog, sit your lane. Any other? I'm trying to think of any other disc cuts
Because
that I
they
want to
also,
bring up this. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking, but they were saying also something. It was also saying that he was being petty because this could have been a coincidence too. But the shipping containers had something about they was from Barbados, which was a dig at him trying to get with Rihanna, but she was with Rocky or some shit like that, or some other petty shit. They was going off on that shit. I'm trying to think any other diss tracks. Shit, I don't know. We might have covered. I'm sure it's something we didn't forgot about, but only other one that I could think of the was the I mean it still reverted back to Dre Day, but it was the Cowards in Compton.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Cause I heard that one was serious too, cause you gotta think. That was back when Miami was basically known for the bass music, and cats used to clown. They used to try to clown Miami, but they didn't know how serious Miami was.
Come on.
A lot of cats
Come on,
didn't know
man.
how serious Miami was if you didn't travel to Miami, bruh.
Luke ran Luke ran Suge out of the Jack the Rapper. That's all I'm gonna say. He ran him out of the Jack the Rapper. He ran him out of the PMC. Cats don't understand how treacherous Miami is and how
And
deep embedded in it Luke is. Yeah, Luke is that dude. Luke is that dude.
bruh,
And also
basically,
shout out to LL and his mini beast, but to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn, going to Ice T, and even throwing the shots of Hammer in that one. It was
bruh. Cats didn't know how serious Hammer was though either.
come on, Hammer. Hammer is notorious for the fact that Hammer might not talk about you besides turn this mother out going after New York and New York's disrespect of him. Then the fact of just how many cats had to get the fuck up out of had to get the fuck up out of Cali, not just LA, not just Oakland, not the Bay, had to get up out of Cali. Period, based around Hammer.
We might have to
Uh,
do a show about cats who like sing pop but on some real serious gangster shit.
Come on, the fact let's go there with the Canadians, man. The fact that snow is not allowed in the U.S. anymore.
Snow's a motherfucking beast.
Snow's not
Snow
allowed
is
in
a
the U.S.
motherfucking
anymore.
beast. Snow is a motherfucking beast. Cats cats slept on cats thought Snow. Oh, who's this white dude singing this Jamaican shit? Yo, first off, that album is still fire. Don't sleep.
Yeah,
Lonely, lonely, lonely Monday morning. Don't sleep on Snow.
yeah.
Please don't. I will slap you. Matter of fact, Snow will slap you. He's
Yeah.
not a joke at all.
And Eclipse called this out before when we did the panel, but understand people that want to use that colorism thing like that. You got Logic in the game. And besides the fact that Logic got a legitimate body in the defense of his family, Kendrick ain't never had nothing bad to say about Logic, besides possibly, like I said, the overall on some hip hop stuff. I'ma just diss everybody, even though I'm still cool with them. Come on now, man. Come on now. And by the way, talk about throwing dust on the body of Drake. Please tell me you watching what Denzel Curry is doing right now, because what he dropped on that DBZ with Meth and Your Old Droog, and then on that Black Flag freestyle. Oh
Yeah,
man, Denzel coming
I did
for
listen
him.
to that joint. Yeah, he's fire. Yeah, he's fire.
Denzel is coming for him. He's like, man, we gonna finish putting it. We gonna finish putting the ashes on this cat. We
Oh
gonna
yeah.
burn the body for real. Cause
Oh
and
yeah.
people have to understand this isn't jealousy because of being a top dude. When you got this many people going after one person, it's
It's
because
for
of
a
that person.
reason.
It's because of that
It's
person and their practices.
yeah. It's for a reason. Like everyone's not telling the same lie. And when again, it's like apples and oranges, but the oranges are the industry. The apples are the culture. When you disrespect the culture, that's what the people, the apples, do not like. The industry could care less. The industry just wants the money. But the
Hmm.
apples are the blood, sweat, and tears from the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you feel that you bastardize the culture, you come in, pillage the culture, and grape the culture
Yeah.
just to get dollars off of it. And the people who you've pillaged, graped, and bastard and messed up from the culture don't get no respect or props from. It's just left there. You just took their talent from them, profited off of it, and left them for messed up, it broke, and all of that. Yeah,
Hmm.
we take issue in that. So, and I don't think that's what the oranges or anybody else, the masses, see. You know what I'm
No, they
saying?
don't.
And that's what the apples are bringing to light. That's what Kendrick brought to light. In addition to bringing the unification of the West Coast, he also brought to light what the apples have been trying to tell the oranges all this time. That's
Exactly.
why this is so big.
Exactly.
That's why this is so big. That part right there. That's why this is so big. One person, Kendrick Lamar, was able to sum all of this up in those few songs right there. That's why this is so important.
Yep. Hey, well, this has been another handsome beatdown. Beatdown Brown, handsome Mandela back at you. We're gonna be right back at you in a second. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Like, share,
buddy.
subscribe. Check out the Schwable Room.
Please.
Check out everybody on the Schwable Room. We back in
Yeah.
effect, y'all. One love.
Peace. Yes, sir.